In the 1970s and 1980s, long before Colombian cartels flooded America with cocaine, the drug trade in cities like New York and Chicago was quietly dominated by the Italian-American Mafia, whose deep-rooted families controlled everything from docks and unions to nightclubs and entire neighborhoods, using decades of influence to shape the heroin and early cocaine markets. In New York, the Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese families expanded beyond their traditional rackets and entered narcotics with a calculated precision that reflected their strict hierarchy. Through Sicilian connections, they built the Pizza Connection pipeline, a covert network where heroin shipments were hidden in pizzerias, grocery stores, and small corner shops that looked harmless on the outside but functioned as multi-million-dollar drug hubs on the inside. Meanwhile, in Chicago, the outfit sharpened its operations as cocaine became the drug of choice for the city's booming nightlife, quietly partnering with Caribbean and South American intermediaries while pushing product through bars, lounges, and suburban networks that owed loyalty or fear to the organization. Unlike the violent chaos later associated with Colombian cartel wars, the mafia ran its empire with controlled, strategic brutality. Rivals disappeared without a trace. Dealers who resisted the tax were handled in silence, and corrupt officials were pressured into cooperation by threats that never needed repeating. As cocaine brought unprecedented profits, mafia families used their mastery of ports, trucking unions, and warehouse routes to move shipments with efficiency that no other criminal group at the time could match. Nightclubs in Manhattan, social clubs in Brooklyn, and backroom bars in Chicago became part of a hidden system where every gram sold generated tribute, revenue, and leverage. Street gangs looking to rise had to negotiate with men who had decades of criminal infrastructure behind them, and entire districts operated under unwritten rules enforced by intimidation or sudden, quiet violence. But this period of dominance also carried the seeds of its collapse. When the Medellin cartel began flooding the U.S. with cheaper, purer cocaine, the mafia initially adapted by forming secret alliances offering distribution networks. The Colombians lacked, and for a while these partnerships brought enormous wealth to both sides. Yet federal surveillance and emerging task forces chipped away at mafia stability. Wiretaps, undercover agents, and major operations like the Commission trial revealed conversations, shipments, and internal politics that exposed the mafia's extensive involvement in the drug trade. Paranoia grew within the families, betrayals increased, and old structures weakened under the weight of scrutiny. Still, the 1970s and early 1980s remained a defining era in which the American Mafia commanded the heroin and cocaine markets with sophistication and discipline, long before cartels and later Mexican organizations overshadowed them. It was a time when drugs moved through the shadows of Italian social clubs, union offices, and neighborhood streets, and when power was maintained not through public violence but through silent authority, deep networks, and a criminal legacy built over generations.